Hey everybody, I'm Julie Rogers. I'm here today to share with you about my books, and I'm glad to be here. Today I wanted to share with you about myself and the books that I've written, and tell you a little bit about why I wrote them and who they're about. I spent 30 years in education, teaching 5th graders and 3rd graders and 4th graders. And during that time we wrote a lot of writing. And at the time that the children wrote, I wrote with them. And this helped me to decide that I wanted to write books when I retired. And when my grandchildren heard that, they were all excited. They wanted to help me write, and they wanted the books to be about them. And so I decided that I would let them help me write a book about them. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the books that we've written about my grandchildren. And I'm eager to share that with you. I live in a town in South Georgia. The name of the town that I live in is Colten. It's a very friendly town. It's the same town I was born and raised in. My children were raised here, and my grandchildren are being raised here. It's a town that you don't have to worry about things in. The kids can run around and play. They have their friends there and don't have to worry about anything. They play around the house, they play in the woods, they play all over the place. And people know the kids around their neighborhood, and they help watch after the kids. And the kids feel comfortable asking for help if they need help. And that's why they felt comfortable making these books. I live with my husband and my dog and my one cat. I had 2 cats, but now I have 1. My dog's name is Lucy Lou, and my cat's name is Bitsy. My children, I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, Buck, Cody, and Becky. Cody has 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, Colten, Levi, and Emma. Becky has 1 daughter, and that's Ely. And I guess I could mention my in-laws. Al is married to Becky, and Jennifer is married to Cody. And that's our nice little family that lives in Poland, right outside of Poland, and our grandchildren that are helping me write books. I'd like to share with you about my books today. It's been very interesting trying to write the books and talk about them and come up with ideas, and I had a lot of help with it, with each one of them, different kinds of help. And I want to thank all the people that have helped in doing everything that's been done, all of my family that's helped. The first book, Colten and the Bullfrog, was an interesting research project. When I became interested in writing this book, I began doing research on frogs, and I decided that we would write a book about Colten and frogs. And so Colten helped me to write his book. He helped me to come up with the words and the ideas to put down. And the other person that is in the book with Colten is his poppy, and that's his granddaddy. He is in the book with Colten, and he is sharing with Colten the adventure. That's the whole adventure, is he and his granddaddy, his poppy. And this is the first adventure that Colten has ever been on. And he finds that he likes adventures and he wants to go on more than one. This is just his first one and he wants to go on more than one. He enjoys it. He goes out during the night. It's right before dawn. The stars are still shining. It's dark, but he has a flashlight and he can see his way around. He can see what he's doing. He goes out and he looks around and he finds that bullfrog. And this book shares with you about the closeness between Colten and his poppy. And it shares with you about the relationship between senior citizens and young people and the things that should go on, the respect that should take place between young people and their elders. And it shares with you about the knowledge that senior citizens have and how much they can share with our children if we give them the opportunity. So think about this when you're reading Colten and the Bullfrog. Think about all the things that take place as you read this book. Think about the things that take place and what you can do in a situation like this. Poppy has a lot of ideas to share with his grandchildren, and he's willing to share all he can if he's just given the opportunity. The second book is Ely and her grubbing for worms. That was a new, exciting adventure for me. Grubbing for worms. I knew how to dig for worms, but I wasn't sure about grubbing for worms. And I learned a lot about grubbing for worms when I did research for this. I learned all about what you do to grub for worms. We talked a lot about it. Poppy shared this with Colten and Ely. He talked about it. And you know, when you talk about things and you share things together, you talk about other things besides what you're doing. You learn to talk about things are different from the subject that you're doing. You learn to talk about different things that can change the way you see things. And like I said, when you spend time with your grandparents, they can share with you things that your mom and dad's grandparents shared with them can be shared with you. And now the last book that I'm going to share with you is very short. I'm not going to tell you about the book, but I'm going to tell you about Levi. I'm going to tell you about Levi and Bessie. Levi loves pets. He is a pet lover. And so the main thing I want to tell you about this book is that it's going to be very interesting. It's about him and the pet that he has. He is going to be looking at a cow. And I don't want to tell you too much. I don't want to give too much away about this book. I want you to read it for yourself and find out what Levi finds out about a cow. He learns a lot about cows. And you can learn a lot about cows too if you just read the book and find out how interesting he found cows when he started studying about them and doing research about cows, and when Poppy started talking to him. And Mima got into this one. So you'll find out a lot about Levi and his cow. And the fourth book hasn't come yet, but Emma has a lot to do when she gets there. So you really do want to look for Emma and her adventure. But I'm excited about my books, and I want you to be excited about the books. So get involved and read. Read my books and read others too. Have a good time while you're reading. You can go anywhere in your life as long as you're reading a book. Go anywhere you want to. Bye now.